Hi students, in our previous video we had discussed about the physical properties of metals. Do you remember the physical properties of metals? What are the physical properties of metals? They can be beaten into sheets. What is the property we call that can be beaten into sheets? We call as the malleability. But in the case of non-metals, that is not possible. You cannot beat a non-metal into sheet. An example you can take. This board is made up of wood, nothing but carbon and hydrogen. If you go on hitting with a hammer, what will happen for the board? It will crack down. Instead of changing into a sheet, it will crack down. So shall we say, if you are going to study the physical properties of a non-metal, they are non-malleable. They are non-malleable. They cannot be beaten into sheet. They cannot be drawn into wire, just like the silver or gold that we are not in the case of metal. And our school bell is made up of a metal. It is a mixture of metals. I am going to beat this board. It had given some sound, but the same frequency with which I hit the school bell, it is audible for entire school. Now shall we say metals are sonorous, whereas non-metals are non-sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous. And metals, we have learned they are good conductors of heat and electricity. What are they? Good conductors of heat and electricity. Have you ever seen your mother preparing dosa in the kitchen? Yes. For that, she will be having a dosa pan. What? She will be having one dosa pan. For this dosa pan, there are two major parts if you see. There is a handle also for this dosa pan. This part where she places the dosa, it is placed on the gas. Means when you give the heat, the cooking process takes place because metals are conducting the heat to them. But she holds the handle that will not conduct the heat through it. So shall we say, what is that handle made up of? It is made up of the kind of non-metal plastic which does not conduct the heat. So shall we say, non-metals are non-conductors of heat and also electricity. Here I have given the example of handle is a non-conductor of heat. This non-conductor of heat, I want to use the word insulator. What is that called as the insulator? And the copper wires that are used for conducting electricity in the home applications, they are covered with the PVC wire. Plastic made up of plastic. It does not conduct the electricity through it, and still it is acting as the insulator. So the plastic, one of the example we take, it is an insulator rather than a conductor. This plastic is made up of carbon majorly. It is also a non-conductor. And all these compounds that we have discussed, one more topic we had left behind, that is called lustrous. What is meant by lustrous? The shiny nature of a substance is called as a lustrous. Gold and silver, any metal when we say, in their pure form, they have a shiny appearance. But these non-metals, they are non-lustrous. Non-metals are non-lustrous. There is one exclusion here for some of the compounds like iodine. Iodine but still it is lustrous. But still it is lustrous. So some exemptions are there for some compounds which show a different property than we expect. So let us see these compounds that are showing a different property than we expect, with many examples that are useful for the objective examinations. Let us continue with them. Let us see the exceptional cases in which the compounds are going to show a different property. One of the property we had just observed. What is the first property we had observed? Iodine is an non-metal, still it is lustrous. Iodine is a non-metal, still it is lustrous. We know the metals are very hard. If they are very hard, they will have high melting points. Generally, the metals will have high melting points. But there are two metals like gallium and cesium. Gallium and cesium that melts while placed on palm. If you place them on your palm, they will be melted. Means they have very least melting point. Generally metals have high melting point, but these are having least melting point. And metals which are very hard and rigid, they have very strong forces of attraction between the particles. Let us imagine I want to cut an iron rod with a knife. What is my task? I want to cut an iron rod with a knife. Is it possible? No, because iron rod is very hard. But there are metals like sodium and potassium that can be cut with a knife. So, shall we call they are soft metals? What are they? Soft metals. Sodium and potassium can be cut with a knife. So what kind of metals they are called as the soft metals? What are called as the soft metals? Now let us take one more example. Do we know the carbon? Yes, carbon is one of the elements in the periodic table with atomic number 6. This carbon is used in many ways because its constituent particles can be arranged in different kinds. Here, this carbon, once we see the diamond, what is the hardest substance in the earth? We can say diamond is the hardest substance. It is having the property of a non-conductor. It does not conduct, but it is the hardest substance. Diamond is the hardest substance and it is an insulator, we can say. It does not conduct. What is the diamond made up of? Diamond is made up of the rigid three-dimensional arrangements of carbon. And when we are doing any electrolytic conductions, generally we use graphite electrodes, or in a simple word, your pencil lead. It is made up of graphite. Graphite. This is having a smooth nature but not a hard, and it is used as an graphite electrode in some of the electrolytic reactions, and it is an conductor of electricity. Conductor of electricity. What is this graphite made up of? This graphite is also made up of carbon. Graphite is also made up of carbon. We have nowadays in the advanced technology about carbon nanotubes. Carbon nanotubes that are used in the conductors in the place of copper. Carbon nanotubes. Here we are learning them with another name that is called as the fullerenes. These all compounds, they are made up of carbon, but each of them have their own characteristic in the conduction or in the non-conduction. So, what is this compound we can call, or what is this property of the compound we can call? The property of the compound that shows various properties we call as the allotropes. What do we call as the allotropes? Allotropes means existence of an compound, in many forms. Existence of a compound in many forms. Carbon is existing in many forms like diamond, graphite or the fullerene, which have different properties. So those type of compounds we are calling as the allotropes. The last one, but not the least, we can call all the metals will be present in the solid state only. But there is one metal that is present in the liquid state. Can you mention? Yes, mercury. Mercury is a metal present in liquid state. Mercury is a metal present in liquid state. So these are some of the exceptional cases or conditions for the metal or non-metal to show in a different property than expected. Up to now we have discussed the physical properties and some exceptional cases. So let us see some of the chemical properties of the metals and non-metals. What happens if they are burnt? Now let us see what happens when the metal and the non-metal was burned. We will be discussing this one in a separate way. First we will see what happens when a metal is burned, and then we will see what happens when a non-metal is burned. Do you remember the activity 1.1 that we had discussed in the chapter number 1? Yes, burning of magnesium ribbon. What is that one? Burning of magnesium ribbon. Here, in the case of metal, I am choosing magnesium ribbon. We had already discussed this activity when magnesium ribbon was burned in the presence of oxygen. It is going to form magnesium oxide. For the balancing, we are given 2 moles. What had formed? Magnesium oxide. Whenever a metal is burned in the presence of oxygen, it is going to form the metal oxide. And what happens when a non-metal is burned in the presence of oxygen? Can you give any example for non-metal? Can you take sulfur? Yes, sulfur is an oxygen to form sulfur dioxide. What is going to form? Sulfur dioxide. So the non-metals on burning, they are going to form non-metallic oxide. What are they going to form? Non-metallic oxide. We want to study what is the nature of metallic oxide and the non-metallic oxide. Nature means, is it acidic in nature or basic in nature when dissolved in water? When dissolved in water. Then only we can conclude. Let us see. We got a white color powder of magnesium oxide after burning the magnesium ribbon. This white color powder of magnesium oxide, when we dissolve in water, it will form magnesium hydroxide. What had it formed? Magnesium hydroxide. I don't know the nature of this magnesium oxide. Then how do I confirm whether it is acidic or basic? We know about the litmus paper test. What is that one? Litmus paper test. If you dip a blue litmus paper in acidic solution, if you dip a blue litmus paper in the acidic solution, then it will change its color into red color. If you dip a red litmus paper in a basic solution, that will be changing into blue color. That will be changing into blue color. Now let us see. We got magnesium hydroxide solution. What we got? Magnesium hydroxide solution means that magnesium hydroxide is dissolved in water and it is called magnesium hydroxide solution. If I take a blue litmus paper in this one, blue litmus paper in this one, we don't observe any change in color. Blue litmus is not going to change into red color. So shall we say it is not an acidic compound. It is not an acidic compound. If I dip a red litmus paper in this one, red litmus paper in this one, it will be changing its color into blue color. It will be changing its color into blue color. Now shall we say it is acidic solution or basic solution? Magnesium hydroxide, when a red litmus paper is dipped in magnesium hydroxide, is changed into blue color. So magnesium hydroxide is an basic substance. Or in another word, shall we conclude, metal hydroxides are basic. Metal hydroxides are basic. How is a metal hydroxide obtained? By dissolving a metal oxide in water, we got a metal hydroxide. Now let us compare the non-metallic oxide. If you dissolve this non-metallic oxide in water, if you dissolve it, see this sulfur dioxide that we got, it will be further oxidized to form sulfur trioxide. It will be further oxidized to form sulfur trioxide. This sulfur trioxide, when we dissolve in water, sulfur trioxide when we dissolve in water, we are going to get sulfuric acid. What are we going to get? Sulfuric acid. Here, if you dip a blue litmus paper in this sulfuric acid, blue litmus paper in the sulfuric acid, it changes to red color. It changes to red color. By this what we say? It is acidic in nature. It is acidic in nature. Or we can conclude that the non-metallic hydroxides, the non-metallic hydroxides are acidic in nature. Are acidic in nature. Whereas metallic hydroxides are basic in nature. This is a very important point, children.